Hey guys, we got a new story out of Russia today. RT is reporting that Russia backs China's call to stop North Korea nuke test in exchange for a halt of U.S. South Korea drills. So basically, they want both, China and Russia are supposedly taking the stance that they want both sides to just calm the hell down. And what we're seeing here is, Russia and China, why, they're such in a tizzy right now is because the U.S. is deploying missile systems, naval forces, ground forces into Japan and South Korea. And, this is their territory. This is where they are basically superpowers in this region. And they don't want to see America placing armament anywhere near them. Now, we've seen China and Russia, and they've been, the side party that's been like, hey, guys, let's calm down, We just had a UN Security Council meeting a couple days ago. Actually, it was yesterday, I believe, where, everyone, I guess, agreed that North Korea needed to stop. They needed to be stopped. But no one really agreed on the means. We had Rex Tillerson, Secretary of State of the United States of America, definitely showing that the military option is very, very much on the table. It's a viable option to the Trump administration. And we kind of see that with the recent deployments of U.S. forces in the region. But it's not just, the United States in the region. France, they just had an aircraft carrier that just docked in Japan. Russia and China have troops on their border. Russia has artillery and anti-air batteries on the border. So everyone's, this is where things get a little choppy. Where, do your words really back your actions? And Russia and China are calling, let's take this a step back, which is good. Japan and the Philippines are doing the same thing. But the Trump administration is they're not here to, play hardball. They want results. And that's the type of man Trump is. So we're definitely seeing a lot of words being thrown around by both sides. But if you look at the action, if you look at the actions of all these world leaders, of their countries, of all the troop deployments by all the nations in that area, it paints a definitive, different picture. It really does. Japan, South Korea, Philippines, they're calling to walk this back. Hey, let's avoid the brink of war, which we're basically at this point, and that's because these countries have the most to lose if a giant world war happens in their neck of the woods. The same with China and Russia. China and Russia, the people have been reporting. The mainstream media has been reporting heavily on the whole North Korean issue, and also with in respect to China and Russia. And they've been talking about how it looks like Russia and China are getting ready for a wave of refugees. But when you look at, the troops that are deployed, tanks and artillery, anti-air, it doesn't really strike to me, per se, that they're getting ready for refugees. That looks like offensive moves for war. Now, what I think everyone can agree upon is that North Korea is not going to stop. All right, their actions have shown that. Their leader, some say he's a rational guy, he's smart. I don't see that. I think this guy was way too young. His dad died. He was, way too young to take over this country, to take over this military. He's had to consolidate power. He's had to kill a lot of the top generals. He killed his brother, and that's because he has a lack of experience, and he's young, boisterous, and what we're seeing here is that with their actions, they're not going to stop. Another thing that we need to look at is there's reports that these missiles, the last two missiles, have been hacked, and that's the reason why they've failed. This last one that happened last night traveled around 30 kilometers, and then at first reports saying that it landed in the Sea of Japan, but actually it landed in North Korea inland. And we really got to wonder whether or not the United States is actually, cyber attacking North Korea to stop these missiles from being a success. And how long will that last before North Korea responds physically to South Korea, to Japan, to U.S. forces in the region? What I really think we need to take a look at is the fact that a Gulf of Tonkin type false flag could occur with the U.S. fleet that's currently within striking distance of North Korea. Because I believe that something like that is definitely a viable option for the globalists to push World War III. Just because, we're kind of in a deadlock here, guys. The UN is useless. It brings all these countries together. And a perfect example is the North Korean crisis, their nuclear program. The majority of countries agree, hey, this can't go on. But then there's literally no action. We could try the same thing we've been trying, and it really doesn't work. And we need China to step up more than that they're doing, because North Korea is a rogue nation. You see people say, well, why not just let them? Why not let them have a nuclear program? But what's the big deal? The big deal is basically their leader. If this was a democracy, like the United States or France, quote unquote democracy. Democracy honestly seems dead, but you wouldn't be seeing this. Their leader, on a weekly basis, makes outlandish threats to other countries via nuclear or conventional force. And that's just unacceptable in the year 2017. Now we're going to have to see what plays out here, just because over the past 3 to 4 weeks that this has been in the mainstream media, that this has been on everyone's minds, that this has been going on, the Trump administration has slowly been pushing more and more for the military option. More and more as, it's basically the only option to them. When you start the conversation by saying the military option is on the table, and you talk about the military option, but the last 5 minutes you're like, hey, but sanctions and diplomacy, bring them to the table might work, then you can really tell that the military option is what they're leaning towards. That they're past the let's bring them to the table. North Korea has not been one to do that. They've been one to stop their missile tests when it came to humanitarian aid, but they're not coming to the table. So we're gonna see how this plays out. I think the next week to 2 weeks is extremely crucial. Well, let's pray to God nothing big happens.